Welcome to my debate of the week about the Bella twins and their future. Look, a lot of people are happy to see the Bellas back. A lot of people don't give a damn the Bella's back. A lot of people wondering why the Bellas are back. But let's be honest here. There's only one reason why they have the Bella twins back. And it's because of evolution. And it's because of the tag belts. Now let me elaborate. Before Nikki Bella left, she was the longest reigning champion. That was to get rid of the record of AJ Lee because they couldn't stand what happened with CM Punk. Now mind you, I will say this about Nikki Bella. She tried to improve her technique. She did. She worked very hard on improving it, and I'm not saying she was the best. No, but she did improve. So I will give it to her that she cared enough to improve herself. Then you got Brie Bella. How can I say this about Brie? Brie, between Nikki and Brie, who is the better wrestler? They're both almost exactly the same. One is more muscle. The other one is more ground. And it's due to the fact of the men they fell in love with and the men that they were with. Well, one is still with her man, while the other one is supposedly not with her man. Nikki's not with John Cena, and Brie is with Daniel Bryan and had a baby from him. So she's acting just like Daniel Bryan. She's trying to do aerial, and she's trying to do basic grapple wrestling. Basic. And it's not working. If you saw Raw, you could see 100% she tried to do exactly what Daniel Bryan did, and having ring rust on top of it. And everyone is saying, oh, she's only like this because of ring rust. No. She is acting like her husband. And she almost killed herself. Not once. She could have hurt herself pretty badly. And you see it in my face. The first time when she got caught up in the ropes. And it was, what was her name? Sarah Logan nailed her even before she nailed her. She got caught in the ropes. And Sarah Logan was supposed to be in a spot. And she wasn't, because probably Brie went there too early. And got caught up. Instead of trying to jump out, or at least wait until Sarah was in position. Then the second one, where pretty much she tried to get both Sarah Logan and Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. Sorry, I haven't seen them in a while. And pretty much she did a suicide dive out, where she could have broken her neck just like Lita did. She was that close. If the angle had been a little bit too steep, she would have landed on her face and jacked her neck. You could see it as well. So she's trying to be exactly like a man and failing zero getting it right. I can see, at least when it came to Nikki, she used the head well enough to know that with John Cena's moves, it's more power. And because she trained with him, at least she has more physical strength than her sister does. So she can pull off most muscle moves more than her sister could. But instead of her sister using her head and saying, you know what? I'm not going to do everything her husband does. My husband does, sorry. I'm going to do the same thing and almost kill myself twice. So what it comes down to is this. Nikki and Brie are back for one more run probably, or several, I don't know. My guess is for Brie, she's coming back for one more run for a while. And will probably be teamed with her sister easily. So when the tag belts roll out, they will have a tournament for it. There's only one way you're going to get the belts. There's got to be a tournament. Either at the end of the year at TLC, maybe if it's TLC, I don't remember. Or next year at Royal Rumble, they will bring out the tag belts. And they will have a tournament before it happens. And in the end, my guess, because a lot of people believed it was going to be Sasha Banks and Bayley. No. You had your chance with Sasha and Bayley in the beginning of the year at WrestleMania, and you blew it. You made a battle royal. Everyone was angry about that, WWE. So what did you do? Instead of trying to clean this mess up, you make them love one another to go into the tag division that hasn't been formed yet because they're still tagging together. And in the end, you still won't give us anything because in the end, if I'm correct, the Bella twins will be the one who will win the titles because they're considered the pioneers of the women's revolution, when they never were no freaking pioneers. When it was Trish Stratus, when it was Lita, when it was, well, let's be honest, Mickie Jane is one of them. But guess what? They don't give a fuck about Mickie Jane because if she did, she would be treated better. Even China was a part of the real revolution of women. The real one. Along with Ivory, along with Jackie, and everybody else. They're the ones who busted their asses, and guess what? They don't mean nothing. The Bella twins are the one. So if I'm correct, the Bella twins will win the tag belts and probably will hold them for a couple of months and will have the distinction of being the first women tag team champions since the time around maybe 1985 or 1990 when they used to have the women's tag belts in the WWF. Remember, the WWF had two tag belts. They had the men and the women. They barely showed the women. They only showed the men mainly. It's very rare they ever showed the women's tag team champions. Very rarely. And then when they retired it in the late 80s and early 90s, no one cared until now. So, how do you feel about this situation? Me personally, I hate it. Because the real women on the roster should get it. Not women being brought back because, one, they helped start the Total Divas show. 2, they started the Total Bella show. 3, both of them were dating or married 2 of the most popular people or controversial people in the company. Because that's what it really comes down to. Nikki Bella and Brie Bella were brought in as twins. Eye candy. Period. Think about Brie showing her freaking nipple on NXT. Nice looking nipple. But the point is, they're divas. They're not women's wrestlers. Mind you, they have worked hard enough to become women's wrestlers, but get this, they're not women's wrestlers anymore because they haven't been wrestling for nearly 2 years, 3 years, or a year at least. So instead of giving the tag team belts to women that are on the roster, they'll give it to people that are not even on the roster often or at all. And I find that distasteful, disgusting, disrespectful. All the women that are on NXT, SmackDown Live, Raw, what is the point for them to bust their ass just so when the tag belts roll out and they have the tournament, the Bella twins get it instead of one of them? I would rather see Naomi and Asuka get it. I'd rather see Becky and Charlotte get it. I'd rather see Sasha and Bayley get it. Hell, I'd rather see, understand, this is really stretching. I'd rather see Dana Brooks and Alicia Fox get those titles more than the Bella twins. Because at least they were on the roster and they've been busting their ass. Unlike them. And I'm not joshing them because one of them had a kid and one of them had a breakup. Nope. I'm doing it because they're being considered the beginners and pioneers of the revolution, which they weren't. That's why. Mind you, they worked hard to become real women's wrestlers, but when it comes down to it, they're not the pioneers. They're freaking eye candy where one of them's already showed her freaking brown nipple. And I'm not going to show it here in the show because it's wrong. But if you can look up the NXT, it's on YouTube. You can look it up. You can look at the nipple you want. And remember, both of them have the same color nipples. The only thing is one's got implants, the other one doesn't. And that is the end of this debate of the week. Please give me a comment below. This is to make up for when I didn't do my Impact Wrestling review the week before. I hope you don't mind it. I won't be doing this often, but I will say this. If I miss any Impact Wrestling reviews or SmackDown review, I will be doing a debate of the week to try and make it up whenever that happens. So have a good day. Have a good night.